But one thing that I can offer that nobody else will is this. You may wonder, how accurate, after all, are these people who we're told know everything about the draft? They're super accurate. So I got 5 people up here. Kuiper. Let's make this a little bigger. We got Mel Kuiper over here. Peter Schrager. We got Daniel Jeremiah. Todd McShithead. And Dane Brugler. These are big people, right? These are 5 of the biggest people out there. Now, some of the information's incomplete, you may notice. That's because some of these people have their information behind a paywall, and I'm not paying them any money to get it. So Kuiper, for example, is on ESPN Plus. Todd McShithead has his own Beehive site. It's kind of like Patreon or Substack. And I can't get it. But whereas Schrager, Jeremiah, and Brugler at least put out their final mocks publicly. So this is a representation of how accurate has each person's final mock draft for the first round been over the years. And so you can see the best one on that, and then we take an average. So McShay and Kuiper are incomplete right now. So all we really have is Brugler, Jeremiah, and Schrager. So which one out of them is the best? Well, it's Dane Brugler. Because he's 24% accurate. That means who he says the team is going to draft, they actually draft. 24% of the time he's been correct. And then Daniel Jeremiah, a lot of people think he's very correct. Well, 20%. And then Peter Schrager, I noticed he went on the Pat McAfee show the other day. They said, Peter Schrager's the most accurate draft predictor in the world. Really? You know how often he's right? 18% of the time. So, in fact, out of these 3, Brugler, Jeremiah, Schrager's the least accurate. So, but if you look at this, it's interesting because the best they can do is really be wrong 76% of the time. That's the best they can do. So when you see these nationals, I wouldn't pay too much attention to them. They can't even get a quarter of the picks right. So now some years they do a little better than others, but for the most part, no bueno. So if you know of any way to get the information for McShay or Kuiper, let me know. Hit me up on X or Instagram or somewhere so I could get these numbers. It'd be interesting to see how McShithead does and also Kuiper. Kuiper's 9% in 2023 was sort of a famous year for him. That's way, way below anybody's, and he's supposed to be one of the best. They hold these guys up, especially Kuiper and McShithead. They hold them up to be the best. And one year he got 9% correct. 9%. That's like 3 players. 3 out of 32. No bueno. But he makes millions and millions of dollars on ESPN telling you who the teams are going to pick. And then he gets 3 out of 32 right? Oh, that's not too good. But still, so I would say probably around 20% is what these guys do. You see, Brugler's got 24, Jeremiah 20, Schrager 18, 20, 21%. That's what you get. So should we pay attention to some of these people when they come out with their final mocks and all of this? Well, the data says no. Eddie's here. Walking Lucy. Howie K is here. Howie's here. People are starting to filter in. So let me know what you think about these mocksters. And also let me know if you can get access. Like Mel Kuiper's drafts are all behind ESPN Plus paywall. I'm not giving them any money. But maybe you're an ESPN Plus subscriber and you can grab it and tell me how accurate he's been. Because that would help us fill out our tracking device here. And same thing with McShithead. Maybe you want to pay him a little bit of money, or maybe you do already and get his historical, because I couldn't grab it. So let me know about that. All right, because I think it's important to know. So for example, one of the reasons I had this idea is because if you notice the Nationals, Jeremiah, McShay, not Brugler, Schrager, Kuiper, they're all saying we're taking David Bailey, for example. But all the people who actually follow the Jets, whether it's Rosenblatt, Cimini, Hughes, Connor Rogers, Joe Caparoso, Will Parkinson, anybody who pays attention to the Jets, the Jets X Factor guys, all the locals, I guess you could call them, they're all saying we're taking Arvell Reese. And one of the reasons I think that these people get so much wrong is because, well, number one, it's hard to predict these things, but number two, they have to know about 32 teams. Like, it's pretty hard to know about all 32 teams in depth. They know the basics. But how much are they going to really look into the fact that the Jets hired Carl Dunbar, for example? Are they really going to give a shit? I mean, they have so many teams. There's 32 teams. They really can't go in depth, especially for teams that are pretty much irrelevant, like the Jets have been for 15, 16 years, right? So are they going to really go and do a deep dive on the Jets? It's also kind of boring to do deep dives into bad teams. How much bad football do you want to watch, So I understand why, but at the same time, it just gives us an idea of how much we should pay attention to these national